So here's the metaphor. You ready? Video editing is like cooking. It takes practice, practice, practice. My name is Finn Lawler, and this is the Junior Mints Podcast. This show is all about thoughts, opinions, and advice on things in life. Today's episode is going to be all about video editing. This is episode 71, by the way. So, let's just jump right into it. Alright. So, video editing is one of those skills that takes a lot of time to master. I've been video editing for maybe 10 years at this point, and I'm still, working on my skills and stuff. I have a long way to go, but I've come a long way as well, if that makes any sense. Not to mention that it takes a crap ton of time. And when I mean that, I mean that. It takes a crap ton of time to do, but it's so worth it because you're sculpting something into a masterpiece. On top of that, there are many, and when I say many, I mean a bunch of video editing softwares out there. For example, iMovie, Final Cut Pro, Adobe Premiere Pro, and many, many more, including, but not limited to, DaVinci Resolve. It's a mixed bag. I use an arrangement of all three of them. So, let's start with the basics. Video editing can basically be defined as taking clips, audio files, videos, whatever, and consolidating them into one of the various softwares. Whether it's Final Cut Pro, iMovie, or even DaVinci. So what you're doing pretty much is you're taking a clip, right? Or a video or a piece of footage you shot, whatever it is, and you're importing it into one of those softwares, as I said previously, and you're pretty much modifying it. Whether it's changing the way it looks by adding a visual effect, or by adding music to it. It can go in a number of directions. Think about it like this. Video editing is Video editing is like sculpting a statue. You're tweaking pieces and polishing them until it fits your fine artistic vision. Now, if you're anything like me, I am somewhat of a perfectionist, which means I will just keep working and keep working and keep working and so on and blah, 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 until I don't even want to finish the piece or the video that I'm working on. So the key here is to just finish the darn thing and then move on to another thing that maybe, let's say you have a piece of the project that you're just so stuck on, but it's taking so long for you to finish it. My advice to you at that point would be to just finish the piece, and then whatever wasn't satisfied in that project itself is something that you can implement, I think that's the right word, into the next project. So that the project, or the workflow keeps on going, and it just keeps going. That way you can improve, and you can learn from the difficulties you've had or something like that, So, back to the editing portion I would put up a screenshot or something, or like a picture-in-picture, but I'm not going to do that. This is mainly for the listeners. I just add the videos just to give it more oomph. Anyway, so the area in which you're importing your footage is known as the timeline. This is where you'll be making needed adjustments to your footage. Now, let's go to a tool that will make your video editing experience that much more simple and straightforward, which is the Blade tool. Pretty much what that tool is a tool that you use to split clips or audio or whatever it is, so that you can kind of get rid of the stuff that you don't exactly need, which makes my work that much more simple. Of course, there's more to it than that, but the Blade tool will become your best friend if and when you start editing videos. So, fun fact. So, real quick though, kind of dipping into the audio territory a little bit, there are these things called digital audio workstations, which means basically just softwares that you use to record audio and you edit audio. For example, podcasters use digital audio workstations to edit their audio. Personally, I edit my audio in Final Cut, even though that's not a digital audio workstation, or DAW, D-A-W, but it is what it is, and it can be used for multiple things. Now, moving on. Every single video editing software, every single software out there has special effects that you can put on your footage to make it that much more special. Hence the name, special effects. These effects include music, sound effects, and even audio and video transitions. And there are these things called masks, where you can cover some of the piece of footage, except you can cover the entire clip and then cut out a shape. Whoops, hit the mic stand. You can cut out a shape of the things you want the people to see. So the the sound effects, they include things like, ambient sounds, Foley, which is the art of making sound, which is awesome, by the way. It goes on and on and on. The internet is a very helpful tool in that sense. All right, let's move on. I'm reading off. My outline is right here, so that's why I keep looking over here. So you could stick with the older editing software like Final Cut Pro or something, or you can kind of dip into newer audio softwares like DaVinci Resolve, which personally I use it, but it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite audio software, or video software. Excuse me. I prefer Final Cut Pro because I've been using that for years on end. And then before that, I started with iMovie, which you know what? iMovie is a very good and simple place for people to start. It is, because it has the basic layout of the timeline, and then the cut tool and then the special effects. You just kind of have to experiment. There's no right or wrong way to make a video. You just make the video, and that's it. And that's partly why I think this skill is so valuable in anything. It's just a nice skill to have. Sure, you could put the skill on the side of your skill set and just use it occasionally, or you can turn it into an entire career like I'm doing right now. Either way, it's a really useful skill. So, there have been times when, let's see, back when I was at school, I've heard numerous students in my major at the time say, "Oh, well, this video editing software is the industry standard." And I'm just like, that's stupid. That's dumb. To that I say, any video editing software, heck, any audio editing software, they're all good. They all get the job done. They all do the same thing. So why are people like, "Oh, well, you use Final Cut Pro, well, Adobe Premiere actually is the standard." It's like, sorry, but no. Everyone has their preferences. That's all I'm saying. All right, here we go. Next thing. Video editing is a skill for everyone. It is. Whether you're a businessman, businesswoman, or whatever you do, whether you're if you're a scientist or something, I don't know why I thought about scientists, but if you're a scientist, let's say, video editing will help because just knowing about how to edit something, even if that means putting the video in the timeline and just putting music to it, that's still something. That's something. And then you have those people, of course. You have those people who are like, well, I edited an entire. That's hard to say. I edited an entire feature-length film with all these special, they're those people that they know they're editing software back to front to back and back to front and whatever. But I guess I'm one of those people. But anyway, it's a skill that everyone can learn, not just the artists that want to break into the industry, like me. But it's a skill that everyone can benefit from. So, while the skill of video editing is for everyone, video editing is not something that, I don't know how to phrase this. However, while the skill is good for everyone to learn, video editing necessarily as a whole is not for everyone. It does take time. It takes a lot of time to master, and I chose video editing because it helps me get my thought processes going and helps me get my brain going and whatever. But besides that, sure, it may not be for everyone, and I don't blame you. It's fun. But part of the reason why I'm saying it's not for everyone is part of the reason I'm claiming that video editing is not necessarily for everyone is because it takes time. It's very tedious. And it takes a lot of patience. However, on the flip side of that, don't let that stop you. If you want to edit videos, edit videos. If you want to, let's say, be an audio engineer, just be a freaking audio engineer, dude. Nothing is stopping you. Don't let the idea of video editing being tedious stop you from doing it. If you enjoy that sort of thing, go for it. See, I'm encouraging you guys. I'm trying to encourage you guys to just go after what you really want. If it's video editing, do it. Do it. And last, but certainly not least, that the one thing I want to say, in case the other things I said didn't click with any of you guys, the one thing I want to say about video editing is that it takes a lot of practice. Practice. So there's a metaphor that I came up with. So here's the metaphor. You ready? Video editing is like cooking. It takes practice. And the more you practice, the better you will get at the skill. And that can go for any skill. So, that being said, this has been episode 71. 71, yes. Episode 71 of the Junior Mints podcast. I have been your host, Finn Lawler. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys liked what you heard today, please go check out the other episodes of Junior Mints on my YouTube channel, Finn Mints. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, please click that like button. Subscribe down below if you enjoyed it. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.